If you walk along Shepherd Street in Round Rock, you might come across a one-room church with marble stone just outside the entrance. On it are the names of the founding families of St. Paul African Methodist Episcopal Church. Though today it is centered in the city's historic downtown district, the church traces its origins back more than 135 years to a location just across the interstate.
We initially were just north of the Lake Creek that goes under I-35, which is behind that shopping center where Sprouts is.
The church was founded in 1885 as the first African Methodist Episcopal Church in Round Rock. The church, which was constructed of wood from an old barn donated by a local farmer, was relocated to Shepherd Street when Interstate 35 was built. The Sauls brothers, who were members of the church, secured a $500 loan to purchase the land from their sister to build the new church, and the new building was completed in June 1958.
We used some of the wood from the church. The windows are from the church. It was in June 1958 when we moved over here. Verley Campbell did the rocks on the front of the church, and then Daddy assisted with building the pulpit here. That's from the original church, and of course our bleachers. They're from the original church we were able to bring on over, and we still have two of the older chairs that we brought over.
Throughout its history, St. Paul has had a number of notable ministers, including Reverend Mrs. Johnny Mae Fulton from 1940 to 1965, who was the one and only female ordained minister in Central Texas at that time. The AME Church was created at the turn of the 19th century by black parishioners from St. George's Methodist Episcopal Church in Philadelphia, who had been confined to the gallery of the church during services.
This is my first full appointment, and you never know what you're going to walk into. The family members were all just welcoming. This has been the most wonderful experience I could have had as a first full-time pastor. My message and what I consider the theme and the focus of our church comes from Matthew 5:16. Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven. We represent that light on a hill that beckons anyone who is seeking refuge and seeking love.
The church has deep roots in its history, something that Ella Sauls Morrison has tracked and kept record of over time.
My great-grandparents are Lizzie and Israel Sauls. Izzy and Israel were the original members of St. Paul to help get it organized back in 1885. And of course, they had 15 children themselves, and then my grandfather, it was 15 of them altogether. It's always been a thing for me. From childhood, I love to save things and do research on them. It's really important to me that the community knows the history of the people of color that lived here, and specifically of the church. And I've realized that it's very important to keep it for the younger generations to learn about. And things that they can learn, it helps them to be able to cope when they're faced with obstacles, which happens quite often,